this video tutorial I will show you how to finish armhole with this pretty double layered H-band which is knitted in stocking stitch. To make the process easier, I'm going to show you this process on my swatch using contrast color yarn. The swatch is knitted in the same stitch as my vest. And let's go ahead and start making this armhole. In this video I will show you the simple way to make this armhole band, and also later I will show you another method, more complicated, and which I think create neater result. So my top is knitted with cotton yarn in spot weight, which is 5-ply yarn, and for my H-band I'm going to use the same type of yarn but in different color. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick up a row of stitches along my vertical edge of swatch and show you the whole process step by step. First of all, to pick up stitches I'm going to use 2mm needles, and I'm going to knit my H-band with 3mm needles, and my swatch or my sample is knitted with 3.5mm needles. So normally for ribbon and H-bands I'm using smaller needles, one size smaller. So if swatch knitted with 3.5, I'm going to use 3mm needles for knitting of H-band and 2mm needles to pick up my stitches along the edge. So my pickup ratio would be 3 stitches per 4 rows. I already used the swatch for trying of my H-band, so stitches look a bit overstretched, but if we would block our swatch it will go back to normal. I'm going to pick up stitches into the first stitch after the H stitch. So here this is my H stitch and this is my first stitch. So I'm using my thin needles and pick up and knit method, and I pick up stitches every 3 stitches and miss 1 stitch, and I start with the very first row. One, 2, 3. I miss or pass the next stitch and pick up another 3 stitches, and I continue in this manner to end of my row. If we're talking about armhole, we're going to pick up stitches around armhole. Here it's straight line or straight row, but for armhole we're talking about rounds. So I'm picking up 3 stitches per 4 rows. Make sure your stitches are not too loose, because we want to make the first row neat and pretty without big holes. So here my row of stitches for knitting in the round for actual vest. you need to go to the beginning of your round, place end of round marker and start knitting in the round. And for my H-band, I recommend to purl first round for knitting in the round, but if you're working back and forth, you need to knit first round to create this purl reach from the right side. This method can be used for knitting of front bands as well. So I'm turning my knitting for knitting back and forth for wrong side row, switch to bigger needles and knit one row. I will add instructions for both knitting in the rounds and for knitting of H-bands on straight needles below to the description of this video. So basically you need to create one purl row from right side to divide your H-band and body of your knitting. Basically, if you don't like the purl row along the H-band, you can ignore this step and knit this row. The result will be beautiful as well. So here I purled one row. Now I turn knitting for my right side row. If you're knitting in the round, you just continue working in rounds. And now I need to work 4 rows or 5 rows if you like slightly wider H-bands in stocking stitch. So I'm knitting my following row. Turning my knitting for wrong side row and purl next row. So now I need to complete another 2 rows. So here I've got 1 purl row and then 4 rows in stocking stitch. Now I need to purl another row to create this beautiful H, and it's the place where we're going to fold our future H-band. So I'm going to purl the next row and then I need to continue to knit or to work some rows in stockinette, and the quantity of rows in stocking stitch should be equal to the quantity of rows between your purl rows. So here I've got 4 rows in stocking stitch and I'm going to work another 4 rows in stocking stitch after my purl row. So now I need to work a few rows in stocking stitch. So I'm purling my next row from the wrong side, but if you are knitting in the round, you need to knit the next 4 rows. So here I completed 4 rows in stocking stitch, and my next row is purl side row, and I'm going to bind off my stitches purl wise because I'm closing them from wrong side. If you're knitting in the round, you can bind off your stitches knitwise. So I'm using very simple bind off. Just make sure that you are not over tighten your stitches. So here I closed all my stitches, and now I'm going to cut yarn probably about 3 times bigger than my edge. Tighten the yarn. And next step, I need to fold my edge band in half and tuck it from wrong side using my tapestry needle. So here from wrong side I've got a row of stitches. It's my pickup row, and I'm going to use it to attach the edge of my edge band from the wrong side. First I'm going to stitch under both loop of my bind off row. So here I'm going to use my edge stitch first, and then my pickup row. Make sure you are not over tight your yarn. Control your tension from time to time. And continue in this manner to the very end of your row or your round if you're working in the round. This method is very simple and it works with all types of yarn. You can use this for bottom bands of your sweaters or cardigans, maybe for the edge band of your hats, maybe edge of your sleeves, any tops like sleeveless tops or short sleeve top. So basically this method of finishing great for any project. Of course it's easier when you are working with contrast yarn, but as you can see I worked it perfectly with my light color vest. So just continue slowly and surely to end of row. So here I'm finishing my stitches. I've got just 2 more stitches left. And And my last stitch. At this step you can fix your yarn, and as you can see, those edge bands is also a great place to hide all your yarn ends. You simply place your needle inside between two layers and cut your yarn and hide it inside. So you can see I created this beautiful edge band in a few steps, and it looks pretty from both sides, from right side and from the wrong side. My edge band looks slightly longer than my swatch because even those yarns marked as spot weight yarn, you can see that yellow yarn is a bit thicker, and for this yarn, if I would need my edge band in contrast color using this yarn, I will need to recalculate my pickup ratio. But as you can see, it still looks pretty. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. In my next tutorial, I will show you how to create similar edge band without using tapestry needle, but using crochet hook. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe to my channel for more video tutorials. Take care, and until next time, happy knitting!